So, hello everyone, welcome to our CPD event. Today I'm really delighted to have Rachelle O'Brien, and she's going to talk to us about escape rooms as teaching tools.
Thank you very much for that introduction. So hi everybody, I'm Rachelle O'Brien. I'm a senior digital learning designer and I work for Durham University, but I'm actually geographically located near Liverpool. So when I introduce myself, I usually have to say that I'm broadly located and working in the north of England, which is a pretty big boundary, as you can expect. Just while we've been getting started there, what I've done is I've put up a little opportunity to introduce yourself. We've had some fantastic introductions, so I'm going to test my skills on using Zoom right now and try and share them. Hopefully you can see that. Can you see that? Excellent work. Okay, so far we've had a cat and a dog, which is always excellent. I do like that dog's face. That's very impressive. Lacey Cat, who is a helper, although she does look like she's up to mischief rather than helping. We've also got what looks like a blueprint for the Titanic. Is that what that is? And not my shed, which is an excellent shed. I agree. Got some poppies, and that just makes me very happy for spring. Some dominoes, dino dominoes. What are dino dominoes? Okay, now my interest is piqued.
They actually look like dinosaur eggs, and if you flip the the dominoes over, there's pictures of dinosaurs on them.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, I now need dinosaur dominoes. And I've put a picture up myself here, which is what my mum thinks I do for a job. So she thinks I do lots of sitting and thinking about things and reading books and typing on a computer. I don't do any of that. If she knew that I play for a living, I don't know what she'd think. But yeah, let's not tell her. So let's get started because I've got a very filled session for you today. What I'm going to do to start with is just go over a little bit of theory, and then I'm going to hand over to you because that's why you're here, right? You're here to play, or I hope so, because that's what I've planned for. So what I hope by the end of this time is that you will have had an experience of an escape activity, and you'll have some understanding of what they are and hopefully have started to think through how you can use it yourself. So just to start off with, please share in the chat what your experience of using anything like games, creativity, playful activities in your practice. Just if you can put in the chat what your experience is at the minute. If you've got no experience at all, that's absolutely fine. And if you are the most experienced person in the world, also absolutely fine. But please just let me know. And while you're putting that in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak to you a little bit about why it's a good idea to use playful opportunities for learning. So one of the really great things about using playfulness in education is that it can be really versatile and it can be really inclusive. Now, I mentioned at the start, I'm a learning designer. So one of the things I'm interested in is designing for learning. I want people to be able to use it and get something out of it. And the real benefit of playful opportunities and games and creativity is that you can take what I like to call the pick and mix approach, which inevitably is going to make it more accessible and usable to a broader range of people. I think another really great thing about it is that it's co-constructable. So it's not necessarily all down to you. It's something that you can involve students in or give students the task of developing or creating. And again, it's a really great thing because we can align it really well with pedagogy, which is something I'll touch on later. For now, I'm not going to go too much into the theory. Another thing, it's scalable, so it can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. I always say with things like this, if you are actually going to start using something, start simple, because the more complicated it is, the more difficult it is to try and explain it to somebody else. And then we come to the caveat bits. So it can be engaging and it can be intrinsically motivating. So I've had experiences where students have found this to be the best experience ever. And equally, I've had experiences where people have said, this really isn't for me today, and I'm not going to participate. And I think it's really important with any kind of learning activity, and especially something that's playful or something that is maybe potentially going to be outside of people's comfort zones, to acknowledge that you shouldn't assume that people want to just join in, and that if somebody is an avid gamer or spends all of their free time playing, that they will really want to do that in a learning environment. And equally, the use of activities like this, it doesn't guarantee that students are going to be more engaged or more motivated to learn or will meet learning outcomes. It may help, but equally, it might not. And I think it's really important to be upfront about that, because I think a lot of the time when people come across playful learning, it's presented as something that's going to solve all of your problems. So I just want to try and give a bit of a balanced view. And hopefully you'll have come to this maybe feeling a little bit critical of it and not being sure about whether it's something that you want to participate in. And if you do feel like that, I'm hoping that this will give you an opportunity to just sort of think and maybe take a chance to take a different perspective. So effective use of any of these activities, just like any kind of learning activity, requires really careful pedagogic planning to ensure that learning stays at the forefront of it. I think the most exciting thing for me in this kind of thing, and that's why I do it, and that's why I come and present workshops like this, and it's why I am so engaged with things like escape rooms, is that they can be really surprising. And again, something I'll come back to at the end. So escape rooms, just in case you don't know what they are, very, very briefly, they tend to have a time limit, which is something you're going to experience today. They involve a series of tasks or activities that require some level of problem solving and will require you to find a solution in order to progress. It tends to be that one thing leads to another. So you will find a password that will enable you to unlock something else and will potentially lead to a different password. They can be really fun. They can be really competitive. They can be very high energy, and they can be really frustrating. And I think the trick with using escape rooms in education and being a facilitator of them is figuring out at what point to intervene. So what you'll hopefully experience when you're going through these escape rooms today is that there are points that are going to be sticking points, and you can reach out to me and ask me to intervene. At that point, I will make a judgment, and I won't let you get to the point where you're going to give up, but equally, I won't necessarily just give you the answer. So just before you try and cheat or try and ask me for an answer, just think about whether or not you're really at the point where you want me to intervene, because at that point, it can make the fun go away. So that's all I'll say. Now, with all of that seriousness out the way, I'm going to get you started, because you have got a mission, and your mission is the future. So the following message contains classified information, and it's going to self-destruct after 60 seconds, so I better read fast. Welcome, agents. A potentially world-ending crisis has been predicted, and carefully selected humans have been contacted and sent to life ships ahead of the event. Unfortunately, in the planning, the government's forgotten all about education. This gives us an opportunity. Golden tickets have been made available for a select number of humans who can prove that they are capable of educating what will become the future settlers at future university. Unfortunately, the details from here are a little sketchy. What we do know is that you must complete a series of trials to be in with a chance of securing a golden ticket. So, are you up for a challenge? The future's at stake and time's against us. Are you up for a challenge? Anybody? Do you fancy it? Oh, it's self-destructive.
I'm up for a challenge.
Excellent news. Okay. There it goes. Oh, so your mission is to get a golden ticket. So the rules here is that you're going to be split into 3 teams. So I'm going to assign you to breakout rooms. Each team needs to work together to complete the trials. You've got 30 minutes to complete the trials, after which time you're going to be brought back into the main room. So you must have team consensus before feeding back. So make sure that you agree. Your future depends on it. And one important thing to remember is your final password is held by another team. So once you re-enter the main room, you've got one attempt to retrieve this final password. And without it, your chances of selection are slim. So make sure you're confident you have the answer. So here we go. Here are your team links, and I'm going to put them into the chat. And I'm going to put you into breakout rooms as well. So I'm going to stop sharing for now so that I can see you all again. Hello again. I see, hi Daisy, I see people looking a bit nervous. You don't need to be nervous. It's okay. The world's not actually going to end. It's all right. So I will get some breakout rooms ready, and I will get the links ready as well. I'm excited to see how you do with this, because I've run this workshop before, and two of the teams just completely ignored everything and just sort of did their own thing. And obviously then didn't get the ticket, and then were really frustrated that they didn't win. And it was like, well, don't ignore things then. Anyway, here you go. So there is the different teams. What I'm going to do is assign you to breakout rooms. If you're in breakout room 1, assume you're in team 1. If you're in breakout room 2, assume you're in team 2. Likewise, I will pop into your room and I will give you the link as well, just in case you can't find it. Read the instructions and good luck, and I will see you in half an hour.